Morning all. Just got back from my physio at the gym and sat in the cafe there, and dear Bernard's holding counsel yet again, dishing out his words of wisdom. And you can't help noticing there's so many fat backsides in the cafe area of this gym. And really, when you study what happens, you get the lady members in the main who spend like 40 minutes in one of these easy-going old lady classes, and then they'll spend 3 hours in the coffee bar having a snack. It's got to be salad in the snack because they're on a diet. And just having a coffee, but with skim milk because they're on a diet. And then they claim that the seating makes the bums look big. Well, it does, and it will. Get a grip, ladies. There's a bigger gym there than just a 40-minute class. I wasn't going to mention the police today. I was going to give it a day off, but, you know, they just can't help themselves, can they? This is Inspector Gary Cross. Is the very unfortunate John Byrne, because he drove his van accidentally into a river. And the brave inspector told his men not to go in and save him because he'd be in danger. Well, I wish they'd make their bloody minds up. They're moaning that they're in danger and they want more men and more money, and then when they get a bit of danger, they avoid it. The hell's going on, and what is it with these fellas? They all look the same, these bloody police. Look at this man. He's the spitting image of the bloke in Scotland Yard who watched the fella getting stabbed to death while he hid in his car. Can't remember his name, but I'm sure you will. Good old Cressida Dick. The Met Police Commissioner's at it again. I think she'd learn, wouldn't you? She's decided now that they need more women police officers in a move that's described as, and I'll just read this, illogical, irresponsible and irrational, and to boot illegal. She's trying to recruit more women. She seems to forget that last week a policewoman incapable of doing the job got kicked in the chest by some kid, decked and beaten up. Now, they can't do the job. It's not safe on the streets for women, whatever you say. Forget equality, and now she is forgetting equality. So maybe we might get more men now, and then if we get more men, let's have bigger men, for crying out loud. Noise on that little piece. I was trying to be clever and hold my pad nearer, so you couldn't see my eyes moving when I was reading, really, and so it looked like I was remembering. But anyway, didn't work, and I made a noise with the microphone, so apologies for that. Well, this little beauty is Laura Softly. She's keeping up the standards of education. She's taking young boys home for sex, and she's been suspended. Get some drunk first. Rather aptly named, Softly. Is that my experiences of getting drunk and attempting sex is anything to go by? But anyway, those days are long gone. Onwards and upwards, so to speak. Female teachers, this is Annalisa Alteriva, bringing Russian standards of education to the country. She's been posing for sexy photos on the internet, and her pupils have found them. And she's been suspended. Have they no sense of humour? At least she wasn't taking them home and getting them drunk. Worried little man is Gordon Taylor. He's the chairman of the Professional Footballers Association. And despite his wages and the fact that they sat on £500 million in reserve, he spent only 125 grand on investigating why many footballers, particularly those who head the ball, are suffering from dementia. And he's been criticised by a lot of ex-players and players, and now the Charity Commission is investigating him. Well, let me tell you a little story about Gordon Taylor from my private detective days. I was asked by a very important fella at a football club, could I help him? So I did, and he wanted to know how a story had got in the news of the world, where he was caught taking a young lady over to Scandinavia on an aeroplane, and his wife found out, he says, and he wanted to know the source of the story because it caused him no end of trouble. So I got hold of a pal at the News of the World, and he did a little bit of research, and his wife was the source of the story. So I went and told Gordon Taylor, sat on millions, the result, and he refused to believe it. Wouldn't have the result, so he refused to pay. So since then, I've always blagged him off in restaurants and whatever around Manchester and the Maitland Hotel and San Carlos and what have you. And but I've still not been paid. So anyway, good luck, Gordon Taylor. You're not going to get out of this one. Don't you get fed up, well I do, about reading about Cliff Richard moaning about the time his bloody flat was raided by South Yorkshire police, and we all know their reputation. And because they couldn't find anything about a 70-odd-year-old single man, never been married, tampering with children, which was the accusation, he's now moaning and suing them, and he's been settled out of court on that one, and he wants to sue the BBC. Well, what makes him so special when there's hundreds and hundreds of people in the same position, houses raided, children upset, pulled out of bed, searches, found nothing, nobody charged, and it's every day here. And what does he do? Well, he lives in Barbados. Doesn't do anything to help all these other unfortunate individuals getting anything going charity-wise and whatever. He just comes over, markets a record, weeps and wails on television all the bloody time, and then pisses off back to Barbados. Not a lot more you can say about that. Talk about not seeing the point about a load of whinging. What's this about these crack slot machines that people are shamelessly addicted to, and they should be made illegal, and it should only be £1 a bet instead of £100 a bet, and all this nonsense? Is somebody dragging these people by the balls and making them bet in these machines? It's the same as going for a drink. You get addicted sometimes. Smoking, you get addicted sometimes. What next? Wearing women's clothes, do you get addicted to that? Well, they don't make all that illegal. They'd make it tighter. So, if you can't stand the heat, don't get in the kitchen. Oh, this young lady is Rennie Hensman. She's 95. And this is a friend, Gordon Pitcher, who's an ex-bank manager. And he found out that she was paying excess insurance fees to the Cooperative Insurance Society, a well-known British institution, and indeed my parents used to always swear by the Co-op, And what was it? The premium they'd held her to for years, 10 years, was £580. But because her husband used to work for the co-op, they reduced it to £440. But they kept billing her for this enormous amount for a semi-detached house. And Gordon found out that she could have the same cover if she took it out today for £190. And what do the co-op say? Well, it's her fault, because when they spoke to her on the phone, she was very deaf and couldn't hear them. So they carried on. So if you're insured by the co-op, phone them up and tell them you're thinking of moving, because I bet you they'll half the premium like they did here. So anyway, well done, co-op. The whole thing about the co-op seems to be a bit on the rotten side, doesn't it? Or at least it did when I was in business, because I used to bank for them. I used to have this bank manager, and there was a bigger bank manager above him to whom he was responsible. Now, this chap used to spend all his time in brothels, snorting cocaine and drinking and what have you. And all the staff knew, and they used to help him get these supplies. And indeed, I was asked, could I help in my capacity as a private detective? So that's the sort of people that are looking after your insurance, unless it's improved drastically. Dear Bernard's had another letter. A little bit sensitive, this one. It's a Dear Bernard, I'm a little bit worried. Am I homosexual? I've seen these 3 diagrams published. It says that A means I'm strongly heterosexual. B means I might have leanings and help them out when I'm busy, when they are busy. And C means I am a raging homosexual. And unfortunately, my figures are those lengths. Is there any room for error, or does this mean that I am homosexual? And to be honest, I have always fancied you. Bernard writes, maybe a trifle irritated, Dear Fingers, the answer to your question is yes. And I don't really want to be accused of being homophobic, but don't write to me again. So there you go. Dear Bernard at his best. Night all.